let's celebrate female astronauts.
And their training, they did 2 days.
I said to you a few this morning. I think they're essentially like on the border of the atmosphere.
I don't know. They're crossing some new frontier for women. They're treating her like she was in Nam. Where are my babies? My babies. Like she was almost dead. Here's Katy Perry. Kisses the ground.
Katy Perry is in complete meltdown mode after Hollywood brutally canceled her over a string of desperate, attention-grabbing stunts. From her awkward billionaire space trip to painfully embarrassing tour performances, she's become a walking PR disaster. Now, the same industry that once crowned her a pop queen is cutting ties and turning its back. Fast.
I mean, nothing says female empowerment like getting this opportunity to go to outer space and making sure everyone can see your breasts.
Hollywood has canceled Katy Perry, and it all started crashing down after that infamous 2025 Blue Origin spaceflight. What was supposed to be a triumphant moment for women in entertainment and science became a full-blown PR disaster. The kind of cultural flameout that gets archived next to Fyre Festival and Kendall Jenner's Pepsi ad. Katy wasn't hailed as a trailblazer. She was roasted as a space tourist in a glitter bodysuit, playing pretend in Jeff Bezos' billion-dollar rocket.
Oh my God. Their training, they did 2 days and is jetting people, to outer space for like 10 minutes, for as long as like your average YouTube video takes.
Let's be real. She went to space for 10 minutes. 10. Barely enough time to finish a podcast episode. The capsule reached suborbital altitude, floated for a few minutes, then came right back down.
Their tasks, they spent the past 2 days at facilities for Blue Origin going over preparations, according to Blue Origin's Ariane Cornell. Their tasks included practicing how to get into and out of the New Shepard capsule.
There was no science, no real mission, no training that went beyond photo ops and PR fluff. And yet Perry spent weeks promoting herself as part of the first all-woman astronaut crew, complete with emotional bell-ringing ceremonies and faux inspirational Instagram posts. The backlash was immediate.
That Katy Perry needs to be further empowered bothers me. She's already got about $1 billion and, short of Taylor Swift, is the most famous pop star and female pop star in the world. This is why she needs empowering, because she keeps revealing her stupidity like that, and we have to boost her back up.
Within hours of the launch on February 12th, 2025, the internet went feral. #Katy Cosmonaut trended on X, mostly with memes clowning her spiritual awakening in orbit. But this wasn't just about jokes. Big voices in media obliterated her. Megyn Kelly called it a well-funded Instagram story in disguise and mocked her for acting like she just returned from Mars when she barely left the Earth's atmosphere. Kelly's rant went viral, over 5 million views in 48 hours. And it struck a nerve. Her quote, "Training for what? Sitting still in a 10-minute rich people's Disney ride?"
They faked it. And I'm like, I hope they fake something better than that. I hope. If they're faking stuff, and they probably are faking some stuff, God, I hope they're faking stuff that's better than that.
And just like that, the tides shifted. It wasn't just online hate. This was mainstream media rejection. Hollywood insiders began distancing themselves. The tour support dried up. A-list endorsements vanished. What should have been a legacy-defining achievement turned into a career-defining embarrassment. The rocket only went 65 miles up. But Katy's public image, it's been in free fall ever since.
Sensory deprivation, one sense after the other. And that's like part of the... And now it's like they had to learn how to get in and out. But they dress it up on the one thing by saying they had to learn egress and ingress. That's astronaut talk.
Megyn Kelly was the first to really pull the plug on Katy's public image. She didn't just criticize the flight, she demolished it. Kelly called the entire mission a well-funded Instagram story in disguise and laughed at the idea that Katy needed training for sitting in a rocket and floating for a few minutes. Her takedown went viral and struck a nerve with people who were already tired of celebrity stunts. To them, it wasn't bold or empowering. It was tone-deaf billionaire cosplay during a time when real people are struggling. And once Kelly said it out loud, others followed.
Now, so they go up there and they float for like 10 minutes,
at least.
and then they come down.
Let's not minimize this.
No.
Joe Rogan piled on next. On his podcast, one of the biggest in the world, he roasted Perry for trying to repackage herself as some kind of cosmic feminist guru. He mocked her awkward feminine divine speech and said the whole space launch felt like a Disneyland ride for rich people trying to stay relevant. His sarcasm was brutal, and his audience lapped it up. Overnight, Katy went from pop legend to punchline. And when both Kelly and Rogan are calling you out, the ripple effect is massive, especially in an industry where public opinion spreads like wildfire. But this wasn't just media personalities talking. The silence from inside the industry said even more.
He advised her against this album. She did it. Now, again, this album had a lot of problems, specifically the Dr. Luke of it all, the producer who was having so much accusations himself and with Kesha and everything else, and which Kesha says Katy knew. And then Katy basically was like, I don't care, I'm working with Dr. Luke again. Against all the internet and fans, it was just a dumb choice to go back to Dr. Luke, but she did it.
Katy tried to claw her way back with her new album 143, teaming up with the producers who helped her dominate the charts back in the 2010s. Max Martin, Stargate, and even Dr. Luke. That's where things really exploded. Dr. Luke, the same man accused by Keisha of sexual and emotional abuse, was now back in Katy's studio. And suddenly, all that female empowerment messaging she'd been pushing felt empty.
Well, Pete, there's already people saying that they faked it, which I think is silly.
Well, I love those people.
But that's great.
Those are
Even longtime fans started to drift. And inside Hollywood, nobody defended her. No big-name artists posted support. No celebrity features, no Grammy buzz, nothing. It was like she'd vanished from the A-list. And when your peers don't have your back, it's not just a bad album cycle, it's a cancellation. And it wasn't the first red flag.
Why did Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom break up after 9 years?
Even Orlando Bloom, the man who once proudly supported Katy Perry in Sardinia, has finally thrown in the towel, and not for a beach day. After nearly 9 years of this roller coaster relationship, Bloom reportedly couldn't handle the secondhand embarrassment anymore. And can you blame him?
New reports are alleging it's because Orlando kept warning her about her cringeworthy space flights and desperate attempts at promoting her new album.
Watching your fiancé run around in circles on stage, wielding an invisible lightsaber like she's battling an HVAC system, is enough to make anyone question their life choices. According to insiders, Orlando didn't just walk away quietly. He expressed deep frustration over Katy's recent PR stunts, calling her antics tone-deaf, embarrassing, and completely out of touch with reality.
It imploded after singer made embarrassing journey into space. The couple's now sparring over who will attend the wedding of Jeff and Lauren. They were already on the rocks when Perry made the widely derided 11-minute space trip, which became a PR disaster.
Apparently, the breaking point wasn't even the awful 143 album. It was the Blue Origin stunt. Orlando allegedly warned her not to blast off into space while promoting feminist slogans cooked up by a room full of male producers. But did Katy listen? Nope. She rang that ceremonial bell like she was leading NASA's next moon mission. Orlando, meanwhile, was reportedly sitting at home, wondering how the woman who once dominated the charts had turned into a walking parody of girl boss culture. Let's not forget, this is Legolas we're talking about. He fought orcs with dignity. He wasn't about to stick around while his partner fumbled through another failed pop feminist reboot, co-written by Dr. Luke, no less.
In the first place, I can't deny that one, Katy, if that's true. It's difficult for her to accept. They've already spiraling, and now the wedding is another thing that they have to fight about, which apparently they are. Comes at this time when she's having, so much trouble on the internet and with her tour tickets, etc. But there's one more quote I'm looking to. Katy's not been the same person for over a year now, and Orlando has had enough.
And it wasn't just career choices that had him packing his bags. Sources close to Bloom say he was exhausted by the constant need to spin Katy's image, trying to explain why she's twerking into splits on stage one night and promoting a spaceflight the next. The man was starring in a documentary about pushing human limits, jumping out of helicopters and rock climbing with no ropes. And here's Katy, flailing across the stage like she's auditioning for a theme park musical. In private, Orlando allegedly told friends he missed the old Katy, the one with purpose and edge, not the one chasing headlines with desperate antics.
What I'm curious about in this video is what actually happened between Katy and Orlando.
When even your own fiance taps out because your brand of empowerment looks more like a costume party gone wrong, that says something. Love may be blind, but apparently, even Orlando Bloom couldn't ignore the cringe forever. Indie pop artist Rin Weaver came forward with a story from Coachella, saying Katy mocked and belittled her during a backstage interaction. She described it as immature and cruel. It didn't make massive headlines, but for those already questioning Katy's character, it confirmed what they suspected. The empowerment image was a mask. Even Travie McCoy, her ex-boyfriend, became part of this unraveling. Her song, Circle the Drain, publicly dragged him for addiction and personal issues, something that now looks less like raw honesty and more like exploitation.
It's not that far. That's not even here to San Antonio.
And if all that wasn't enough, the Lifetime's tour sent things spiraling even further. Footage of Perry's stage performances started circulating online, and it was hard to watch. Not because of bold new ideas, but because she looked completely lost. Her choreography was clumsy, her energy forced, and critics described her dancing as glitching like a broken animatronic. Instead of a reinvention, it felt like desperation. A 40-year-old icon twerking in circles and trying to recapture what she once had, but missing the mark entirely. The saddest part? This all could have ended differently. If Katy had just stepped back, reflected, or evolved in a real way, maybe the industry would have given her space. But she didn't. She doubled down on bad choices. She stayed silent when it mattered and loud when it didn't. She embraced controversial figures, ignored genuine criticism, and tried to manufacture a comeback with smoke and mirrors.
I think this is the confusion. I think the confusion is that they essentially got to the threshold of space.
Let's be real. When Joe Rogan comes for you, it's never subtle. And when he turned his attention to Katy Perry's Blue Origin spaceflight and her whole feminine divine narrative, he absolutely torched her. On the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan didn't just criticize her, he roasted her like it was open mic night at a comedy club. And the crowd? Oh, they were loving every second. He sarcastically dubbed Katy a guru for Instagram feminism, which honestly sounds like a rejected caption from one of her own press releases. According to Rogan, the spaceflight was less about breaking boundaries and more about playing dress-up in zero gravity. He didn't hold back, calling it a rich people's Disney ride and mocking her deep feminine awakening narrative like it was the plot of a failed reality show.
So they get up there and they look at the Earth?
Yeah, that's why like everybody's calling bullshit on the outside of the capsule.
Right.
That it wasn't like completely on fire.
I buy that. Why is he going? Because he wants to go hook up and connect with all the Hollywood people. That's why. What really stings is the hypocrisy. He complains about her going to space, and then he wants to go to the wedding of the people who made it possible for her to do this in the first place.
But the real punch? He compared her to a lost pop star clinging to a spaceship for relevance. And coming from someone with Joe's platform, where millions tune in not just in the US, but globally, this wasn't just a passing insult, it was a cultural gut punch. Because when Rogan mocks you, clips go viral, memes explode, and suddenly the internet isn't just laughing at you, it's wondering why you ever took yourself so seriously in the first place. His segment didn't exist in a vacuum either. It came right after Megyn Kelly's viral takedown of the same event. Together, their commentary turned what Katy hoped would be a boss woman in space moment into something that looked more like an overfunded influencer stunt. People stopped asking what she was doing and started asking what she was thinking. And that shift? That's what started cracking the foundation under her career. But if Rogan's roasting was the public slap, the music industry's response was the silent knife to the back. Even Max Martin and Stargate, the hitmakers behind some of the most iconic songs of the 2000s, stayed quiet. No statements, no Instagram support, no stream this now tweets, nothing. And that silence, that's where the real drama was. Because these aren't just producers, they're industry giants. If even they didn't feel like defending Katy's new work, that said everything, and Hollywood